Imagine a desolate laboratory, hidden away from prying eyes, where the boundaries of science and morality blur. Nestled in the heart of an unforgiving wilderness, shrouded by an ever-present fog, the lab lies in a realm where the sun dares not to shine. A place of isolation and silence broken only by the ominous hum of machinery and the intermittent clinking of glass against cold, sterile steel. In the bowels of this forsaken place dwells a scientist, a man whose name has been swallowed by the annals of time. His once vibrant eyes, now dimmed by the relentless pursuit of knowledge, reflect a haunting image of obsession. His hands, weathered by countless hours of meticulous labor, bear the mark of a relentless devotion to his craft. His mind, once a beacon of enlightenment, has been twisted into a labyrinth of darkness and despair. The laboratory, an extension of the scientist's psyche, is a chilling testament to his reckless disregard for ethical boundaries. Its cold, sterile walls echo with the hollow laughter of sanity long lost. Its labyrinthine corridors, shrouded in an ever-present gloom, are lined with rows upon rows of chilling instruments, their purpose too horrifying to contemplate. This is no ordinary place of learning. This is a sanctum of forbidden knowledge, a shrine to the macabre. The air is heavy with the scent of chemicals and the latent promise of dread. Every surface, every corner, every shadow whispers tales of experiments that defy the very fabric of nature. Among the countless apparatus, there lies an operating table, its cold metallic surface stained with the remnants of countless failed experiments. It is here, under the flickering light of a solitary bulb, that the scientist's most horrific creation took form. In the heart of this forsaken place, a monstrous aberration took form, a grotesque fusion of flesh and machine. A testament to a man's obsession, a symbol of his fall from grace, a beacon of his descent into madness and the birthplace of a nightmare that would soon escape into the world. Within the cold, sterile confines of the lab, the scientist's twisted experiment yielded a horrifying result. Such was the birthplace of an abomination, an unholy union of science and nightmare. The scientist, once a respected figure in his field, had become a puppeteer of terror, manipulating the strings of life and death in his insidious experiment. The objective: to forge a creature from the raw materials of fear and revulsion. The experiment was an unhallowed fusion of flesh and machine. A monstrous aberration born from the bowels of a madman's ambition. Its form was a ghastly sight to behold, an affront to nature. It was as if the scientist had torn apart the fabric of creation and sewn it back together in a grotesque parody of life. Its body, a twisted amalgamation of organic tissue and cold, unfeeling steel. Its eyes, or what passed for them, were soulless voids that seemed to consume the very light around them. And from its maw, a cacophony of mechanical whirs and inhuman growls echoed, a testament to its unnatural existence. But it was more than just a physical monstrosity. The creature was imbued with a perverse intelligence, a cruel cunning that belied its monstrous form. And within its grotesque shell, a hunger stirred. A hunger not for flesh nor blood, but for something far more insidious. It craved the taste of fear. This abomination, birthed from the depths of human hubris, was not merely a product of science gone awry. It was a testament to the darkness that can lurk within the human soul, a chilling reminder of the horrors that can be unleashed when ambition is untempered by morality. And yet, as malevolent as it was, there was a tragic element to its existence. For it was not born out of malice, but from a misguided pursuit of knowledge, a desperate attempt to push the boundaries of understanding beyond their natural limits. This horrific entity, birthed from the depths of man's hubris, began to stir, its hunger insatiable. As the moon cast an eerie glow, the abomination found its way to freedom. The night was its ally, a cloak of obscurity that masked its grotesque form from prying eyes. It bore no chains, no restraints, only the insatiable thirst for fear that fueled its escape. The desolate laboratory, once a fortress of cold, unfeeling science, became a playground for the creature's twisted amusement. It roamed the metallic corridors, its monstrous silhouette reflecting off the polished steel surfaces. Its presence was an unwelcome guest, a nightmarish entity that transformed the sterile environment into a chilling maze of terror. As it moved, it left a trail of chaos in its wake. Equipment shattered into 1,000 shards, documents scattered like fallen leaves, and the once whirring machines were silenced, their life force extinguished by the cruel hand of the Abomination. The air grew dense, heavy with the palpable dread that seeped from every corner, every crevice of the forsaken laboratory. The creature reveled in the destruction, its ghastly form shrouded in the flickering shadows. Its laughter, a guttural sound that echoed through the empty hallways, was a chilling serenade to the night. It fed off the fear it instilled, the horror that it etched into the very walls of the laboratory. The Abomination, once a prisoner of science, was now the ruler of its own chaotic kingdom. Yet, amidst the chaos, there was an eerie silence. A silence that spoke volumes of the creature's power, its ability to strike fear into the hearts of the bravest souls. It was a silence that whispered tales of the unspeakable horror that the Abomination had unleashed upon the desolate laboratory. But the creature was not satisfied. Its hunger for fear was unquenchable, its thirst for chaos insatiable. It yearned for more, for the sweet taste of terror that it had only begun to sample. And so it ventured further into the night, leaving behind the haunted laboratory and seeking out new realms to conquer. The once silent corridors of the laboratory now echoed with the dreadful remnants of the Abomination's escape. In the wake of the Abomination's escape, an ominous silence fell. The very air seemed to hold its breath, as if afraid to disturb the ghostly vestiges of the monstrosity that had been unleashed. A chilling hush clung to the forsaken laboratory, its sterile walls tainted by the memory of the creature that had once lurked within. Where once there was a hum of scientific endeavor, now there was only the echo of a twisted ambition, its resonance lingering in the desolate halls. The once bustling hub of innovation was now a tomb, a monument to a grotesque fusion of flesh and machine. Each room, each corridor, each piece of equipment bore the indelible mark of the monster's presence. A palpable sense of dread permeated every inch, every corner, every crack in the floor. The scientists' warped experiment had forever scarred the laboratory, leaving behind a haunting legacy. The chilling aftermath was a grim reminder of the horrors that had been birthed within these walls. The echoes of the creature's escape still reverberated, a phantom sound that seemed to seep from the very pores of the building, a constant reminder of the terror that had unfolded. In the aftermath, so many questions remained unanswered. What had driven the scientist to such a ghastly experiment? What was the true nature of the creature he had created? How had it escaped its confines? And most haunting of all, where was it now? Each question added another layer to the shroud of dread that hung over the laboratory. The echoes of the Abomination's presence were everywhere. The aftermath of its escape was a haunting testament, a chilling narrative woven into the very fabric of the laboratory. The creature's monstrous form seemed to linger, a ghostly imprint that marred the once pristine environment. The laboratory stands as a chilling testament to the monstrous aberration that once lurked within its walls. It is a stark reminder of the horrors that can be unleashed when science strays into the realm of the grotesque, and the chilling aftermath that follows in the wake of such monstrous birthings. The monstrous aberration may have vanished into the night, but it left behind a trail of dread that lingers to this day. The desolate laboratory, once a humming hub of scientific exploration, is now a chilling monument to a nightmarish experiment gone awry. Its corridors, once filled with the promise of discovery, now echo with an eerie silence, punctuated by the whispered rumors of the Abomination's escape. The dread and fear that seeped into the walls that night have never truly dissipated, a lingering specter that haunts every corner of the forsaken facility. The creature's departure was not a quiet one. It left in its wake a tangible dread, a chilling testament to its monstrous existence. The scientists, once so eager to delve into the unknown, are now haunted by the memories of that fateful night. Their dreams are plagued by the grotesque fusion of flesh and machine, the monstrous aberration that was once their creation. The whispers of the creature's escape have become the stuff of legend around the desolate laboratory. The staff recount tales of the creature's terrible form, its haunting wails echoing through the corridors, the dread it left in its wake. These stories have been passed down, growing more chilling with each retelling. The fear is palpable, a living entity that feeds off the haunted memories of the laboratory's past. Even now, years after the creature's escape, the dread remains. The lab lies dormant, a ghost of its former glory. Its once bustling halls now empty and silent. The echoes of the past resonate through the desolate corridors, their haunting melody a constant reminder of the horrifying creature that once roamed its halls. The monstrous aberration, a grotesque fusion of flesh and machine, continues to cast a long, chilling shadow over the desolate laboratory, a haunting reminder of the dreadful night it escaped.